So in this segment, I want to talk about um, Nazarin Ratcliffe Zahawi and what's happened to her. So I know her name's like Flip, but like I've seen people pronounce it either way. So it's a bit strange, but anyways, that's just not important. So the British government has deliberately delayed taking steps necessary to secure the release of Nazanin Ratcliffe Zahawi, including a payment of a £400 million debt owed to Iran for fear of offending the Trump administration. And this debt has been there for a long time by the looks of this article. So the lawyers requested a meeting with Defence Secretary Ben Wallace and his advisers at the earliest convenience to discuss the approach the government was taking issue on the debt owed to Iran. In a 7-page letter to Wallace, the lawyers accused the government of procrastination and claimed the UK's approach to securing the release of dual nationals from Tehran jails has been far less effective than those of other countries, including the US. A BBC Panorama program broadcast a similar charge on Monday night. So I've not watched the Panorama documentary, but I'll try and watch that at some point, probably today if I get bored. Nazarin Ratcliffe Zahawi has been under effective house arrest in Tehran since March, where she was given temporary release from prison, having served 4 years of a 5-year sentence for alleged espionage. This story has been ongoing for such a long time now. So her husband, Richard Ratcliffe, has alleged that her release has been held back because the UK's failure to settle an acknowledged £400 million debt over an arms deal with the late Shah of Iran. So here you can see that the UK's failure to pay its debts has come back to haunt us. So, in a letter to Wallace, the lawyer said that it is astonishing that International Military Services, IMS, a government agency, continues to raise every possible legal objection to payment of the debt and has plainly failed to engage in constructive dialogue with Tehran. So, you can see what Iran are doing here, and I should never have to spell out that Iran are a vicious dictatorship, an absolute badly run country, but at the same time, we should not be doing business with these countries. And what they're doing here is effectively holding some of these dual nationals hostage in order to get this money from the UK, which the UK owes this country. This is not a ransom. For extra money, this is money that the UK owes to Iran. So the lawyers claim that the government is apparently waiting for implicit permission from the US to pay the UK's legally owned debts. And waiting for Daddy to tell us what to do. Daddy, can we pay the debts, please, Daddy? Embarrassing stuff. Like, I thought we were big man. I thought we were sixth richest country. I thought, Brexit means Brexit. All this bluster. Like, we can do what we want. We're the big dons. We're back again. Big boss returns. To show these fools how it's done. Bruv, we ain't that. We haven't been that since probably post World War II. Since basically the US became the superpower and we fell off. So this idea that we can do what we want is just rubbish because we're waiting for the US to give us permission. And do you think the US are going to do that? No. Why are we doing this? Because chances are Trump's going to be voted out and Biden's going to be put back in. And Biden was part of the administration that did the Iran nuclear deal, which we'll talk about in a minute. And we'll talk about Bojo the Wonder Clown's specific role in the arrest of this person, Nazarin Ratcliffe Zahawi. So the UK's stance is somewhat paradoxical. The letter says in that the US has itself negotiated 2 prisoner swaps with Iran recently. So why are we asking for permission from the US to do something that the US has already done? Why are we doing this? Is to delay this whole situation. I would not be surprised if the Boris administration, or whatever you want to call it, the government, were waiting for this woman to die so they wouldn't have to deal with this. I would not be surprised if that was the case. It also claims that British tactics have failed to deter the Tehran regime, saying there's been a new wave of forced confessions and prisoners being tortured, a new program of family members of activists and prisoners being arrested, more instances of second sentences being levelled against cellmates of Nazanin who would otherwise be eligible for release. So it's very clear what Iran are doing here. Absolute despot nation where they're forcing confessions out of people, and what they're going to do is they're going to keep trying to get more and more prisoners in order to get this money out of the UK. Part of the purpose of the letter is to warn the UK that its actions risk endangering the freedoms of more British dual nationals. And I would, if I was the UK, I'd pay the debt, I'd get everyone out, and I'd put Iran on a travel blacklist. I would absolutely put Iran on a travel blacklist, and I'd put the case that if you go to this country, the Home Office may not be able to help you. If Iran isn't on such a blacklist already. So the letter concludes, it is important that the UK honours its legally owed obligations to Iran, but also calls out the Iranian government on its illegal treatment of Nazanin under Iranian law. However, the UK government has done precisely the opposite, obtuse, refusing to discharge its legal obligations whilst remaining silent and appeasing Iran in the face of Tehran's atrocious abuse of Nazanin's human rights. So I think the UK are doing their absolute best to ignore this in the hopes that she dies. That's what I'm assuming here, anyways. The letter was sent to Wallace as the Ministry of Defence is a 99% shareholder in IMS. So if the government wanted to pay off this debt, they could do, because when you own that much of a company, you can vote on this and get it done. As a backbencher, Wallace objected to the UK's non-payment of the debt, but the letter claims Wallace, as Defence Secretary, has become party to the waiting game that you so vigorously opposed. A deliberate policy of procrastination and delay, coupled with the fallacious insistence that roadblocks to repayment are unavoidable. The only other way I can see this is like the UK want to be seen strong in Iran and saying we're not going to pay the money we legally owe because, we're that good now. The British Defence Secretary said the Defence Secretary's position on the matter has not changed, as previous statements have made clear. We remain committed to securing the immediate and permanent release of all arbitrary detained dual British nationals in Iran and regularly lobby for their release at the highest levels. This includes through the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary. It's funny they mentioned the Prime Minister, actually. We'll get to that in a minute. The Foreign Secretary and the British Ambassador in Tehran. So Dominic Raab's been missing. This guy Ben Wallace missing, and Bojo the Wonder Clown. Should we talk about him? Whilst he was Foreign Minister, he said she was a journalist and she was teaching journalism. Let's see if I can find the... there it is there. The UK Foreign Secretary at the time, Boris Johnson, condemned Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe's conviction for spying in Iran last week as a mockery of justice, but added she was simply teaching people journalism. Do you realise how stupid that is? They were trying to claim, Iran are trying to claim something like she's trying to teach people journalism. She's there for espionage to damage the country, because by teaching people journalism, you're teaching people to, do fact checks and rebel against the country. It's just embarrassing. So last week, remarks by the Foreign Secretary proved no justifiable basis to bring any additional charges against Nazanin Zaghari, and that he was planning to call the Iranian counterpart to ensure his remarks are not misrepresented, but Johnson failed to withdraw his earlier comment. And so here, Bojo, he actually helped put her in the situation by saying that. And her husband, I think, was very angry at the situation because Boris made it worse because he didn't do his research, which is not surprising given how he's led the country. So if we keep going here, and why are we scared of offending the US when we've already done so by staying with the the Iran nuclear deal? So this is the start of the year. This is, I think, just after the Iranian general was killed. We, the foreign ministers of France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, share fundamental common security interests along with our European partners. One of them is upholding the nuclear non-proliferation regime and ensuring Iran never develops a nuclear weapon. So the JCPOA, also known as the Iran nuclear deal, is something that the UK, Germany, and France are still holding on to, barely. And this is from the start of the year, and this is from this month here that the UK is still holding on to this. So we've already annoyed Johnson by doing this, and I think he was saying that he'll sanction the European countries over there. We said, go and do it then, and he didn't do it. And so why are we afraid of offending this tin pot prick? I don't understand. I don't get what we're trying to do here, because the UK owes this money, so just pay it. Just pay the money. That's all we have to do, is legally obliged. Because could you imagine other countries may try and do this to us? They might stiff us over deals because we haven't paid them. It goes to say that stop doing deals with dictators. That's what this message goes to, because you didn't pay the money, and look what happens. You roll with the sharks. You got bitten, and now someone who's completely innocent of the situation has been put in jail for no reason because they want the money from the UK, and now they're trying to play hardball. So she's been in pen for almost 5 years because the UK refuses to pay its debt. And I don't know if this is a Labour thing or if this is more of a new thing, but all I know is pay the money, get these people out, and put Iran on a travel blacklist. So look, I'm going to leave it there. I've rambled on long enough. Let me know what you guys think of the situation. Look, I don't care much for Iran. The sooner that country sees change, the better. And I mean positive change. I don't mean for them to go more into the savage country that they're in. We've seen like a lot of protests at the start of the year, and hopefully that continues. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.